When I was doing that thing yesterday on Grant Morrison, when I was doing that video, I forgot one of the big things he pointed out that made a big impression on me. It's the idea of time in this realm. I always make a big thing about how time only exists here and nowhere else. And I don't know how I know that, but I believe that to be the case, just some things I picked up and juxtaposing against other information I have, whatever. That's what I've come down to, is that time is only here, and that's how people can do these multi-generational plans. The people that try to mess with humanity because they work outside town, they way to move outside of it. Spun Mercury, Purple Huron, that whole thing. But he pointed out something that I really never thought about, and that is that the reason we're even, not the reason why we're here, but the fact that we have time here is how we grow. Because nothing grows in a timeless area. It doesn't move ahead. And since this place is primarily like an incubator or an egg for the progeny of the divine, we are God's kid, and we're trying to be matured through these experiences or whatever is going on here. If we weren't in this time environment, we wouldn't be able to grow or expand or get older, mature more into what we're supposed to, whatever that happens to be. And because I was always like, well, time is here as a stressor to make you be more anxiety ridden, to make you think you have to get in all this stuff because and what that does is that makes you more low vibrational, and they use it to suck that energy off you, the loosh, as it is a farm, or as it is now a farm. But but the time was always here, so it wouldn't make sense for time to be here before it was like a farming scenario. When whatever it was, it didn't make sense, but I didn't think about that all that much. I was just like, oh yeah, time's here to stress us out, so we produce more low vibrational loosh for the farmers to eat. But I don't know if I never just thought about it or whatever, but the fact that time was probably here since the very beginning. But the reason time was here is because this is like an egg, I guess, an incubator. And what he pointed out was, if there wasn't any time here, we couldn't grow. We couldn't, we wouldn't be able to grow into the thing we're supposed to be, which who knows what that fucking even is. But I thought that was a big thing that struck me. And it makes sense, He just made an offhand remark about it, talking about something else, and I was like, oh wow, yeah, that does fucking make a lot of sense. He wasn't even saying it in relation to why it's required here or why we're here in particular, but seeing as it was originally intended to be, what some people call a training area or a school, is something that helps you develop into the, because we're like babies. We are a baby. We're one big baby. There's no grown-ups in here, and we're developing. And without time, that wouldn't be possible. That happens a lot, where I'll pick something up that ends up being real significant to me as far as putting together the puzzle I have, or the how the board with all the tacks in it. I'll just catch a little thing like that, and it fills in another piece of the puzzle. Motorcycles on the sidewalk. You see that kind of thing here a lot. Saturday night. A lot of people out. Me and Nia were noticing, like, this week especially, this past week that just went by, a lot of people here. Like, and it wasn't all that crowded previously. It's almost like they all decided to show up. I mean, I live right smack in the middle of a tourist area, the tourist area, actually, for Hawaii, for really all the islands. I mean, people go to Maui too. Oh yeah, Maui, it's weird, you know, every time I bring that up, even like in a real mild way to people, they shut that shit down. They don't want to talk about it anymore. It's weird. I've noticed this happening whenever I do. Like, I was in Long's last night. I was talking to one of the girls there that was ringing me up, and she was like, oh yeah, I'm going on vacation. And I'm like, oh, where are you going? It's cool. She goes, going over to Maui. So I'm like, oh, cool. She's like, I think her son lives there or something like that. And I'm like, oh, is he in like anywhere near Lahaina? She's like, no, he's over here. He's away from that. And I'm like, yeah, it's really awful what they did over there. It's a crime. And like, her response was like, she looked away, kind of almost turned around, and I felt the uncomfortableness there. So of course, like, I want to make sure I know what's happening here. And I'm like, yeah, it really is a crime what they did to those people. And like, no response. Just like, I got the vibe, like, please don't talk about this. And while I can't, I had a similar conversation, a couple with other people too, when I brought it up. That one was from last night though, so it's fresh in my mind. I can't really remember the circumstances of the other two. You gonna go, buddy? I would rather you go now than try to hit me when I walk. Yeah, I always let people go first because I don't trust them at all, and I shouldn't trust them. I have no reason to, especially when you've been sorry, Dave, I've been hit here 3 times by cars, automobiles, walking. I can't imagine what it's like to drive around here. You know, can't imagine. But yeah, so people, it's like, now again, you have the robot situation going on. So if the OS filters down to them in some way that they're not supposed to discuss that, you know, I could see that happening. But yeah, people are just repelled by discussion of it. They don't want to talk about it. They want to just kind of forget about it. And it's kind of crazy. How you doing, man? It's kind of crazy that they, like, would. I mean, I don't know. It's definitely another one of those, to me anyway, supernatural type of thing. Like, it's the OS and the robots, you know? Because it was almost like a repelling kind of vibe from me just bringing it up. It's like, no, we don't talk about it. It didn't happen. Kind of weird. Kind of weird. But that's how it runs with a lot of these kind of things, and that's why people kind of forget about them over time. You know, anything that's significant that I think happens in the larger world stage. You know, a lot of times, I was just thinking about, even though it's not a disaster or anything, the mattress thing of the Jewish tunnels, like, that's like memory hold too. Well, it's easier for them to memory hold things now because so much fucking crazy shit is happening, one after the other. You know, I've said a lot of times that if almost any of this stuff happened in like the 90s or even the earlier part of the century, well, you know what? Things got weird after 3/11. Things got weird after that. The way time feels, the adherence to some kind of OS or program by people. There's a lot less independent thinking. That was a giant spell. You know, that was a giant spell. Spell, ritual, ceremony. They packed a lot of stuff into that. And I think that kind of changed the reality. moving forward. But yeah, people just kind of forget about this stuff real quick now. And so last night when I broached the Maui thing, it was just weird. It was just weird, the response I got. Yeah, I'm going into Ross, of course. Nothing in Ross. I like to pop in there because they don't have a day, a specific day where they put shit out. It just kind of comes out all the time. So I like to pop in and see if there's anything in there. You know, so many times like I go in and just miss something. I can tell I just missed it because there's like one or two of something left, and you know they had a case. It sucks. So I like to pop in randomly, see what they got in there. Yeah, I was watching a video earlier about circumcision. It's pretty good. The guy goes over all the main points of why it's ridiculous. And I'm a bit salty about it because I was a victim of that, you know. What it does, I mean, it's first of all, it's a sick religious ritual from a people that I have nothing to do with. For a good background on it, exactly why they do it, Eric Klopper, he has a great talk on it that he got in a lot of trouble for from his own people, because he's one of them. And yeah, he got a lot of trouble for doing it, but I forget what it's called. I'll put the I think it's section circumcision. I don't know. I'll put a little thing up there, show you what it is. But he explains how, you know, it comes from a Moloch thing type of situation where instead of giving, I think this actually is Moloch. Instead of giving the firstborn sons, an arrangement was made that they could take off their dick well, not take off their dick, but mutilate it as in lieu of having to give up the entire child. Originally, it was just like, I guess, a mark, you know, or a deep scar or something. They didn't originally take all the foreskin off until they probably realized it made good face cream for their women. But and now there's a whole, you know, there's a whole business that goes along with that. But what the thing that it does too is when you're that small and you have a procedure like that forced on you with no anesthesia of any kind, the trauma changes your brain chemistry and it affects you for the rest of your life. When you're first born, I mean, everything's impressionable. Everything's impressionable up until the time you're like 7. So things that happen to you there, most times you'll carry through your life. So that kind of traumatic thing to do. And there's a lot of like pictures too, where it shows like the baby before it happens, all smiley looking, you know, happy baby. And then right after, where they look like they had a lobotomy. Because it's just so traumatizing, you know, being subjected to that without your consent, obviously. You'd think they would, you know, well, you know, they're trying to get a consent thing going for themselves for what they like to get up to. So they're always trying to push the fact that, oh, kids can consent. You know, so I'm surprised they haven't worked that into it somehow, you know. But yeah, you're basically tied down and they do the fucking, or bolted in, whatever the fuck they use. And then they had procedures performed on you. I gotta cut in here for a minute. Just trying to get out of this fucking situation. Nia's a lot better at this than me. She just walks. Me, I'm too courteous. And I know they're fucking robots, so they're not gonna adjust. I have to do all the adjustments. Anyway, yeah, no one asked me if I want to be part of a Jewish ritual. And it has nothing to do with the things they say it does. It has nothing to do with health. In fact, it could it's a lot more unhealthy to have it done. I mean, you could die. Never mind, I mean, those moles that do it, where they use their mouth to suck the suck the blood out, because yeah, that's what they're doing. You know, they're doing it to their own people, and their own people are down with it. But I ain't got nothing to do with them at all. You know, I'm 100% Irish, both sides all the way back. My great grandparents came off the boat to America, meaning a lot of things. But yeah, so the fact that was that sick ritual was kind of foisted on me because, I don't know, you know, my dad probably had it done, and that's just the thing you do. And the doctors will lie and tell you that it has all kinds of health benefits, which it doesn't. I mean, it's part of their rituals. They're marking, if they're not marking their own people, they're marking Goyim as like theirs. You know, it's just like you would cattle. It's pretty fucked up. But that's one of the things I get the most pushback on social media over the years, posting anti-circ stuff. Yeah, I've gotten into a lot of crazy heated shit over the years. That and one of the school things, the Sandy one. They really like to protect that one. Those specific people came after me for that. And I was like, wow. At first I didn't understand it at the time, but I mean, now I understand a lot better why they would do that. And I mean, plus their people work on it. It's a Mossad type of operation, you know, so they don't want you making fun of it. The worst thing you could do to these people is to poke fun at them. Because when you, like I went over this the other night, when you poke fun at evil, it takes away its power. You know, when you're laughing, you're not in a fear state. And the way these people operate, and not just them, but I mean the whole evil axis, the axis of evil, is they need you to be afraid. Because when you're afraid, you're the most farmable. They can draw the most loot from you. When you're in that fear, you can't get lower than that as far as low vibrations, the farthest you can get. And laughter is the highest you can get away from it. So they get really upset, even if they don't understand that, and most of them don't understand that. That's why they get so mad when you make fun of them. And again, not just them. A lot of other people in the evil lineup. You know, take your pick. Various, the 13 families or whatever, you know. Anyone working for the beast. They don't like poking fun at them. The beast especially doesn't like it. He really hates it, you know. So, that's what you should always try to do. Sylvan Long's doing the self-checkout thing. And I guess from what I've read, that they're going to start getting rid of those because of theft. Which, you know, yeah, I can see that. And then that guy God Rules, whose channel I was talking about yesterday, he was talking about how Walmart and Amazon are changing their business models to get ready for the future, or the future that they know about that we don't. And one guy in his comments was mentioning that he had sorry, I had to light my shield. One guy was mentioning that he was somehow in the retail industry. So this is another case of a guy on the internet said. But he was saying that within 5 years, what they want is to have, like Walmart in particular, the entire store kind of automated. So you won't be browsing the aisles and picking things out. I don't know exactly what he means by that. Like if they're just going to work like warehouses, and you there's some kind of menu you pick from or whatever. I don't know how that's going to work out, but the implication, no matter how they do it, is that there's going to be a lot of people laid off. And this dovetails with all the other stuff I've been saying for a while. Like they want no one to have jobs, so that everyone's desperate because they have no way to make money. And then they want them all in the street, but at the same time closing all the businesses down, so there's nowhere to buy anything anyway. That they're trying to make conditions so that the only place to go is that fenced-in yard at the camp that you see in every fucking dystopian sci-fi movie. You know, because that's what it's going to be. They're going to be the only ones with stuff. You know, no one's going to work. And I mean, it's going to be, I think it would have to be eased into in some way. Like, I was talking about universal basic income, UBI. They're already trying that in some parts of the world. I don't know if that would be like a speed bump to, you know, the final form of us standing in a fenced-in area somewhere. But yeah, that's the 2030 agenda thing. They always tell us 2030 is something else. I mean, in 2030 Agenda 2030 has been called, you know, Agenda 2024, Agenda 2020, you know, all the other times they thought they were going to have all the ducks in a row to get it done. They keep moving it back. But however they explain it, they always explain it to us as some kind of new green way of living. And it's not. It's about more control for them. You know, what they're advertising or telling us it is and what it is don't have a lot in common. But that's the year they're aiming for, to get, I guess, the beginning of more control. I mean, they already have control. You know, that's the thing people don't understand, this New World Order type thing. They've already had this for years, you know, and they already have control. They want more efficient control. Oh, you need a cigarette? Yeah, hold on. Let me get everyone. How you doing? Good. Here you go, honey. Need a lighter? Hold on. Okay, yeah. There you go. And we're gonna. Yeah, they want. It's efficiency. They want their farmers, right? And they're trying to farm their cattle, and they just want that to be more efficient. The control's already been there. I mean, you know. And but yeah, this thing about automating everything, not giving anybody a place to work, and then closing everything down. You know, it's cities are becoming like. You know, Snake Plissken fucking playgrounds. It's just like that movie. I was looking at some skyscrapers. Was God Rules Again? Was that in his video too? I don't know. He was showing this downtown area. I think it was him. Of skyscrapers where they were just empty, you know, because they weren't being rented anymore. So a lot of people are just squatting in these things. And I was watching someone else's video too, where they went with some cops. It was like they were working with these cops, and they were taking them on like a ride-along type thing to like this parking garage that was abandoned. And like every floor is just a different, like crackhead lives there. And the place is like madness. Oh man, it's kind of funny. If I can remember what it is, I'll put the thumbnail up. But yeah, they're riding up and down the elevators. Everybody's fucked up on drugs. And that's just happening in a lot of these buildings. They're creating that chaotic kind of environment that they want. The old order out of chaos thing. And yeah, we're starting to see the beginnings of it. How fast it gets done, I guess, is predicated on how successful each part is, you know, because they can't move to the next phase without having some kind of success in the one before. Now, as an election year, I'm pretty sure they're definitely going to shut shit down again come like October, November, and kind of everyone in the sort of schizo community kind of feels that way too. That it is indeed going to happen, but whatever it is, some kind of new virus they'll use as a name, which is stupid because viruses don't move from one body to another. I learned that in fucking 7th grade science class. A virus is a cellular process that happens to clean yourself out. It's a reaction to an infection you might have. You don't catch it, but that was the terminology used in years and years of Hollywood films, and people have been programmed to believe it means something that it doesn't, and therefore it's virus, you know? Whatever. They're going to do something, and I don't give a fuck, because I loved the lockdowns when it happened. I mean, yeah, you know, the injustice and all that other shit, and you know, that's annoying, but there's not much you can do about it. So, you know, why does this guy keep beeping? He's been beeping since all the way back there. It's like, people walk through here every day. You know, it's for years they've been walking through here, and it's not like someone's in the wrong place. Fucking psycho. Yeah, he must have been me, because there's nobody else down there. I do get singled out for a lot of shit like that, though. But I don't complain about it. I try not to complain about it. I can't complain about enough bullshit. But yeah, so if that indeed does happen this fall, I have no problem with that. Because I don't follow those things anyway. So I just do what I want. And that means there's no one out here that I have to dodge or have to deal with. It's wonderful. And as someone was saying, if they do lock down everybody again, which I think they probably will, I think this time, they would be fools to let us out. Like, I didn't think we were going to get out the last time. I was like, you know, when you start seeing rumblings about opening things up again, I'm like, why would they do that? You know, thinking like from their perspective, they got everybody where they want them, and they pretty much had almost 100% compliance, like from the very jump, from the first day. I mean, people ran into their houses and fucking hid under tables. It was disgusting. It was awful. I think that was the beginning of me investigating the robot theory. You know, it's because I couldn't think of any other reason why that would happen. I'm like, it's almost like they were controlled. And the more I looked into it, the more I realized not only was I not the only one thinking that, but people had been thinking about it. Some cultures for, you know, hundreds of years beforehand. And, you know, numbers had been tossed around already for years as to the percentage of how many people they think are, you know, controlled by the operating system. But yeah, the good thing about that whole event from 2020 is that it made things a lot clearer, you know, if you have the eyes to see it. And I did think it did get a lot of people who might have been in the can see when shown category, you know, because it didn't make any sense, especially if you live in a place like this. They closed the airport, I think, for a week and a half, maybe not even. I'll have to look at that. And other than the very first few weeks where everybody hid in the house, once they opened the airport back up, it was just business as usual here. And in fact, that's why one of the reasons why I started filming stuff was there was a story in the news here, Honolulu Star Advertiser, that was saying Hawaii pushed to the brink, hospitals overflowing, it was doing massive damage to us, the COVID thing. Yeah, you walk around town, it looks just like this. And there's no one at the hospitals. You could walk right over to Tripler or Queens, and they weren't letting you in for a while. I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact that concurrently they're running these news stories saying that they're overwhelmed, that they're sick. Like the way they were talking, you would think they were burning bodies with kerosene behind these buildings, and nothing like that at all. So yeah, so I started walking around doing like videos, mocking, you know, the carnage and the humanity. We're on the brink here in Hawaii, and I'm just showing people having fun, like eating and laughing and walking around, being tourists or whatever, and it's just funny. And then, yeah, 3 years later or whatever, here we are. With that being said, thanks for dropping by, as always. Nice to be seen. Until next time, don't blame the teacher, blame the school. Say hi to you.